Grace Nwankwo was born in Enugu State, southeastern Nigeria, the only child of a schoolteacher mother and a mechanic father. Life started out modest, but happy. At age 12, tragedy struck. Her parents died in a car accident on their way to a village wedding. Grace was sent to live with her strict aunt in Lagos. Grace grew up with a deep sense of responsibility. She hawked pure water and groundnuts after school to contribute to the household. Her dream of becoming a fashion designer was dismissed as childish, but she never let it die. After secondary school, she learned how to sew by apprenticing under a neighborhood tailor. Every naira she saved went into buying a second-hand sewing machine. She began designing clothes from her aunt's corridor, sewing by candlelight, begging friends to model her designs for Facebook and Instagram. Her big break came at age 24, when a Lagos socialite wore one of her handmade Ankara jackets to a wedding. The photos went viral. Orders started rolling in from Lekki and Victoria Island. By 28, she launched Grace Couture, a fashion brand known for modern African wear with bold prints and regal cuts. She expanded into ready-to-wear outfits, bridal collections, and even collaborated with Nigerian celebrities. Her shop in Lekki Phase 1 became a fashion destination, and in 2021, she was listed in Forbes Africa's 30 Under 30 in fashion and lifestyle. Despite her success, Grace lived simply. She knew what it meant to sleep hungry, to hustle, to be overlooked. She built her brand not just for wealth, but to inspire young girls like her. By 34, Grace owned 2 boutiques, had 5 staff tailors, and ran weekly fashion classes for underprivileged girls. She had a beautiful home in Lekki and was married to Tony, a charming businessman. After 5 years of marriage and countless tears, the doctors confirmed her worst fear: she would never carry a child. Devastated, Grace eventually accepted the idea of hiring a surrogate mother. Through a private clinic, they were introduced to Ruth, a woman who seemed desperate, quiet, and humble. She agreed to carry their child using Tony's sperm and Grace's egg through IVF. Grace paid her generously, even giving her a 2-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood. Every week, Grace visited with groceries and vitamins, always thanking Ruth for the blessing she was carrying. Months later, the doctor confirmed that Ruth was carrying twins. Grace was so happy. When Ruth gave birth at 7 months, it was a complicated delivery. 2 baby boys were born, one looked exactly like Tony and Grace, the other bore a striking resemblance to Ruth. The doctors were stunned when DNA tests revealed the unthinkable: one child was Grace and Tony's via IVF, the other was Ruth and Tony's child naturally conceived during the pregnancy. The hospital called it a rare superfetation case, when a woman conceives again while already pregnant. Unbelievable, but true. Tony confessed. He said it just happened. That Ruth had started calling and crying at odd hours, saying she felt lonely and needed emotional support. One thing led to another, and they started sleeping together during the pregnancy. Grace felt so disappointed. She had paid this woman. She had trusted her. Ruth refused to give up either baby. She claimed both were hers. She carried them, after all. But Grace wasn't backing down. She hired a top lawyer and sued for full custody of her biological son. It was messy. Newspapers got wind of the story. Tony's infidelity became public. Grace's heart broke all over again, not just from betrayal but from the embarrassment. In the end, the court granted Grace full custody of her biological child. Ruth kept hers. Tony was ordered to pay child support to both women. Grace divorced Tony immediately and raised her child alone.